Hi guys, Bomber here. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be taking a look at the top 9 decks to craft when the new Targon expansion is going to release. So, the first deck is gonna be Taric Lulu Elusive Support. So, by the name, we already see that we run a bunch of support synergies, in particular Lulu, Taric, and then other very powerful support synergies like Mentor of the Stones, Young Witch. Thierry the Traveler could be cut because we have yet to decide the power level of this card, but definitely it is still a support synergy we needed to level up the Taric and the Lulu. It costs not that much, so we definitely need that to get our support synergies. And then we have Flower Child as a 1-drop that obviously synergizes well with the support strategy. This will get buffed, for example, starting with a 1-drop, the Flower Child into Thierry the Traveler will basically make you have a 2-2 and a 3-4 by turn 2 and take the open attack, which is pretty insane. Probably the Thierry would die in that attack, but still we have the Flower Child, which is a 3-4. And you paid just 3 mana, which is kind of worth it, 3-4 on board, and you already did 2 damage thanks to the Thierry the Traveler. So definitely we see all the value potential on this deck, and then we also have obviously the best targets for the support, like for example of the Mentor of the Stones. We can buff the Kringley duo and other like Elusive. Young Witch is very nice because it's both an Elusive and a support synergy card. Then we also run Shadow Assassin, nice to refill, and also it has Elusive, so again, pretty nice target to all the support stuff. Zenith Blade is kinda nice, because you can cast it on Taric, and then Taric will recast that on other allies. Giving Overwhelm and +1/+2 is very nice on Elusive in particular, because you care mostly about making them survive, so it's actually more valuable the health. Obviously you need some attack on the Elusive units, but actually at some point you kinda need the health more. And so yeah, the Zenith Blade also a very nice activator for Taric, because you redraw another Zenith Blade if you get the Daybreak. Then we have just one copy of Deny, because you want to protect your board from board swipes, and also your Taric from single removal. Blessing of Targon, very nice again on Taric. You play the Blessing of Targon on Taric, and then you copy that on an Elusive unit, for example. That is simply insane. Mountain Sojourners, very nice to complement all our support synergies. And then we also have the Arbiter of the Peak, because we have a lot of targeting spells and support synergies, so this will come down maybe later in the game as a 0 mana 6/6 Overwhelm by turn 6 maybe. And you still have mana to play something else, and for example you play these and then a Mountain Sojourners, for example, or a Blessing of Targon, and definitely you can grab the win by turn 6 by this combo if you get the high roll of all the support synergies and then you draw the Arbiter of the Peak. So yeah, definitely this is a deck to watch out for. Lulu grants a lot of value, especially if she levels up, and it's quite easy to level this up given all those support synergies that we have. And then yeah, I can't show you the leveled up Lulu, I don't know why on this site you can't, but yeah, basically the help picks 1 mana, give barrier to one of your allies, or vulnerable to some of your enemies. It's very nice because this can act both as a removal on your attacking turns and as a defensive tool on your attacking on your defensive turns, thanks to barrier, which can still be used on attacking turns anyway. So yeah, this is definitely a very strong deck to watch out for in the new expansion. Then we have a Diana, Leona, Sun and Moon. Basically the idea, this is a full Targon deck, and the idea is to have both Nightfall and Daybreak in the same deck. Daybreak activating the cards with Nightfall later on in the turn, and so this makes you feel less bad about both aspects of those keywords, because you want to play a card before first in the turn with Daybreak, and then you want after that to play the cards with Nightfall like Diana and stuff. So definitely this seems like a promising plan, because we have both great 1-drops for both Daybreak and the Nightfall, so you can start with both. Then you have the Diana. If you have played the Lunari Duskbringer, then Diana can come down pretty easily with the Nightfall. And also you have still 1 mana left. Not really, because the Duskbringer, the Dusk Petal Dust costs 1 mana, so yeah, it's just an activator for the Nightfall. But anyway, yeah, you play the Diana, or you can continue with the Solari Shieldbearer, for example, as a Daybreak. And then later on, when you get further in the game, then you can have both mana to activate the Daybreak. For example, on turn 3, you go Solari Solaris Soldier, and then you can go Diana or Lunari Shade Stalker and stuff like that. So you can easily combine 1 drops, 2 drops, etc. at any point of the game. Then yeah, this is kind of a mid-range deck, which wants to generate a bunch of value. I also added the new card, the Lunari Priestess, although we have yet to see the invoke keyword, how well does the Celestials card work. But anyway, yeah, then you have removal in the form of Sunburst, Sun Guardian as a finisher to play on turn 6. Again, you want to grab that win on turn 6. Ravun Daylight Spear as a mid-range value tool, and also activating more Daybreaks the later on in the game, when you actually maybe want to cast more Daybreaks on the same turn. And so yeah, this is basically Bastion as a one-off to protect Leona and Diana. Pale Cascade, very nice trick, which we'll see play in any Targon deck, basically. And so yeah, this is the deck, a mid-range deck, and definitely something to watch out for in the new expansion. And then there is the Leona Yasuo Stunning Morning Light, Daylight, yeah, I gave this name, because basically you want to combine the Leona Daybreak, which also has some stun synergies, in particular on our level up, which basically stuns the strongest unit every time you activate a Daybreak, and Yasuo, which wants to stun stuff to make him level up and then deal 5 damage basically to everything whenever you stun that. So yeah, definitely they can synergize, although currently Yasuo is more combined with the Noxus, because Noxus has more way to stun and also to stun a board, but we have that same thing on Targon, but we need more synergy. And the combo is basically to play a lot of Daybreaks cards, which we are not so bad at doing, and then we play the Morning Light, which gives allies +2/+2 this round, so also a nice buff on the wall board. And then Daybreak, activate all ally Daybreak effects at once. So if, for example, you have played a 1-drop, a 2-drop, a 3-drop, and a 4-drop, and they all stayed alive, which is kind of difficult. Obviously the 4-drop is Leona, which is kind of difficult, but it is achievable, and also because you can block with Leona on turn 4 basically everything, so there are no problems to stay alive. Also the Solari Shieldbearer, also very nice to block. So yeah, it is definitely achievable. And then you play the Yasuo on turn 5, and then on turn 6 you play the Morning Light. You buff your board, the Leona is already leveled up, you activate all the Daybreaks, so you have 4 on play, and also Leona activates 1 more time thanks to the Morning Light, because this is the Daybreak effect, so you basically stun 5 units no matter what. And basically Yasuo levels up in an instant. You have a full stunned board. Yasuo has dealt tier 2 to every one of those units, and you have a full board with +2/+2, and basically on turn 5 there is no way that your opponent has more than 5 units, maybe he has less, and so yeah, you can take the open attack with a wall board with +2/+2, and that's basically a good game. Obviously this is pretty much a dream, but it could happen at any point in the game. Basically you can this combo can take more time to develop, but you have ways to stabilize, like with Ravun Daylight Spear, generating more value. Even these can generate the Morning Light on himself. The Sunburst as a removal, Sun Guardian as a way to threaten the board and basically taking a trade because your opponent is scared about all this damage. and Yone, Wind Chaser again, to like a backup plan to level up the Yasuo. We also have for that the Concussive Palm, Steel Tempest, and the usual stuff for Yasuo to level up. Also Bastion to protect the Yasuo from removal, because as Yasuo is kinda like a key card for the deck. And so yeah, this is definitely something that I'm very interested to actually try on when the new expansion will release. So this is a Garen Taric rally support, and the main idea behind this deck is that to get the value of supports, you need to attack, but you get the attack token only every other round. But this is not true if you can attack every round, for example thanks to Garen leveled up, or if you have rally effects, like the Relentless Pursuit, or when he will load up, the Relentless Pursuit, or the Tiana Crown Guard as a finisher, basically. So yeah, you want to get as much rallies as possible to get the most value out of Taric. For example, if you go in a turn where you have Taric already in play, then you Blessing of Targon him, for example, and you, for example, have a Garen already on board, so maybe turn 6 or so. You basically get +3/+3 on the Taric and the Garen as well, which has regeneration, which is actually very, very interesting to buff, because the health buff is very important on a regeneration unit, and it will definitely be much harder to kill that when this unit gets more health. So yeah, you get that one time. Then for example, if you have a 3 mana spell left, you can Relentless Pursuit, and still Taric will remember that the last spell you cast on only me this round onto that ally, the effect of Taric. He will remember that you played what's the name? The Blessing of Targon on Taric, and so when you reattack on the same turn, he will cast that again. So that's definitely a very strong move. Or, as I said, you can basically attack more times, and give like on your opponent defensive turn, you play a Relentless Pursuit, and then you can get value from Mentor of the Stones, War Chefs, Tiari the Traveler, and all the supports that this deck runs. Mountain Sojourners, very, very nice. Then yeah, you have some mid-range tools to recover from aggro beatdown, like Radiant Guardian, because actually we don't run so many early drops. We basically start playing by turn 3 with maybe Tiari or Mentor of the Stones, and yeah, we only start seeing a very good, not so much to block, 4-drop at turn 4 with Taric. And so yeah, maybe on turn 5 onwards we have more stuff like Garen and Mountain Sojourners. So yeah, if we are in an aggro matchup, then this is definitely a deck which will suffer a bit. But we can, for example, play a War Chefs to block on those occasions. And we can get value, for example, by giving it like the Zenith Blade, so this is a better blocker. So yeah, obviously the aggro matchup will, this deck will suffer against the aggro matchup. If we see that the meta is too much aggro, then maybe we will remove, for example, some of our late game tools, like for example Radiant Guardian, which is kinda needed, so maybe the Tiana Crown Guard, which seems a bit too much. We can remove that and add, for example, a 1-drop like the Fleet Feather Tracker to combat more on the board, which actually synergizes pretty well with the Tiari Traveler. But yeah, this is just a theorycraft, and we have to see when the meta actually arises. Then we have the Nocturne Diana Hyper Aggro. This is definitely a deck to watch out for in the new expansion, because this will define basically the aggro matchup mainly. You see that Diana is very, very threatening on turn 2. This can start trading on your stuff by turn 2, of course. And then you have a finisher in a way of Nocturne, which can easily be leveled up by the turn you play it. Since you have a lot of Nightfall cards in a Nightfall deck, which this is. We have the Ravenous Butcher and the Fading Memories, because we actually have, we need ways to activate the Nightfall, and 0 mana cards are very, very good at doing this. So for example, I don't know, maybe by turn 3, for example, you play a Cursed Keeper, or maybe not, maybe by turn 3, on turn 2 you play a Cursed Keeper, then you Ravenous Butcher on turn 3, and you can play the Crescent Guardian, for example. So by turn 3, you get a 5-3 with Overwhelm, a 4-3 from the Cursed Keeper, and a 3-2 in the form of Ravenous Butcher. So this is definitely very, very threatening. And yeah, so the other cards, you see that we have a lot of one drops. Bark Beast works very well. This is basically the Bark Beast, Ravenous Butcher, and what's the name? The Cursed Keeper package is very very strong on its own on any Shadow Islands, which goes for aggro strategy, and it's particularly strong in this Nightfall deck because, as I say, the Ravenous Butcher and stuff like that can trigger for free basically the Nightfall effect. So yeah, we run this package, then we have Fading Memories, which again is kinda strange in an aggro deck, but it can save your good allies from removal by basically putting that onto your hand for free, basically, and also again activates the Nightfall keywords, so definitely very strong. And yeah, Glimpse Beyond to refill your hand. The Shard of Darkness, very nice to like play the Nocturne after that, so you activate the Nightfall again, and you also have a shield to removal thanks to the spell shield, and that +1/+0, which is always nice. So yeah, this definitely will be the aggro archetype to go for when the new expansion will release. Then we have a Braum Trundle Midrange. This is a full Freljord list. We run all the good tricks from Freljord, so Brittle Steel, Elixir of Iron, Share Spoils, we will see why of this card later, and Troll Chant, which is the new basically bonkers trick that Freljord has. We then also run Take Heart, Avalanche to stabilize, because you see that we don't have too many units to combat on the early turns, but we can get away from the aggro matchup thanks to this Avalanche. Take Heart because we want to basically buff up the Braum. Throw Ravager, again a very nice drop to have, since we have the Behold synergy and we can buff him, and definitely the regeneration keyword really helps on that. It's basically a Braum, but stronger in some sense because it already starts with a 3 attack lead compared to Braum, but it does lose the challenger, which you can use to trade on stuff if you get the attack on Braum. For example, with Take Heart and Avalanche, you avalanche your Braum, you get the 3/3 for free, and you take Heart Braum and then you attack with it. Definitely a very strong combo. Avarosa Nerd card because we want +1/+1s on our units, because we do care. They all have regeneration or challenger like Braum. Trundle also has regeneration. Augur of the Old Ones also has regeneration and Overwhelm. Can grant Overwhelm to, for example, Braum if he levels up. Or we have Avarosa Nerd card as a like how do you say, a target for the Augur of the Old Ones. Battle Fury. It's our Behold activator, if we can load it up. Here it is, Battle Fury, and also it's very very strong, for example with Braum, again Trundle, so we have both targets and we want this to be a target for our Behold. Then obviously another Behold activator is the Pillar that Trundle summons, so you basically want to mulligan for Trundle, so we will not have a hard time getting a Behold activator, so we can like easily run only one in the form of Battle Fury. And then on the early game we actually run Starlit Seer because we have a lot of spells, and the Starlit Seer combos pretty well with our deck plan too, because we want to get those stats again. So we run a lot of spells because they are good on their own. And the Starlit Seer also combines with our game plan. Share Spoils again is very good because we run a few units, but we really want to draw them. So again, you draw one of them thanks to Plunder. So for example, you mulligan for a Starlit Seer and you hope that you will get an attack in. But yeah, sometimes later on in the game, thanks to all the overwhelms that we will get, for example, like Trundle or Augur of the Old Ones, then you will get that damage in, and so the Plunder will activate on the Share Spoils, and again the +1/+1 on 3 units is very very nice. So yeah, this is definitely a deck that builds themselves basically, and it's definitely something to watch out for again when the expansion will release. This is the first deck, which is a budget deck. So the main concept of the deck is a Swole Squirrel OTK, as the name of the deck suggests. So we run obviously the Swole Squirrel, the new card from the Targon expansion, and this has some very nice OTK potentials. So basically the game plan is a very aggressive deck, Navori Blade Scout, Greenglade Duo, so we run some Elusives, then Legion Drummer, Triferangary Seeker, and also Young Witch. Basically the Young Witch and the Legion Drummer giving quick attack to Defy Angry Seeker to basically dominate the board early on, Calling Strike to remove some threats, like for example Swain. If we have to see on the meta, but there are definitely, or a Braum. Braum seems very promising on the new expansion, so this will definitely have some targets to gain a mana advantage and deny your opponent's turn, basically. Twin Disciplines, we will see more on that later. Willing Death, Might, they are basically combo activators, and also Twin Disciplines as a double usage, because this can be used to save one of your units from removal. Then Deny serves the same purpose to basically save your opponent from different kinds of removals, like for example Vengeance, because the turn when you get the OTK you want to protect your Swole Squirrel. Then Facilitator Caretaker, this got actually cut away from the support synergy Ionia and the Targon, but on this one you actually care so much about the +3/+0 that you can't remove this from the deck. And then K to the Arm, again, the +3/+0 and Overwhelm. So the main OTK combo, as I've written right here, you basically want to go for Swole Squirrel, which starts at 3 attack. Then you Elixir of Wrath it, so it goes at 6. Then you Might it, or attack with the Kato support, so it goes at 9 and it gets Overwhelm, which is very important. Then you Whirling Death, because you will probably block that unit, or you will attack with other units because you will have some of those, so you will have to block to not die, because they will have already taken a bit of damage. So you Whirling Death one of your of his blocking units, so 9 double gets to 18, and since he has Overwhelm, if you basically you kill the unit that gets to block the Swole Squirrel, and so the Swole Squirrel gets 18 damage in very easily. It is not a full OTK because this does not deal 20, but it's very easy to get that last 2 points of damage. Basically turn 1, if you start with an Avori Blaze Scout, your opponent starts already at 18, so it's very, very easy. Or anyway, you will get those 2 points of damage on the course of the match, thanks to Green Duo and overall your pretty aggressive strategy. So yeah, you will get 18 damage, but you can further optimize this combo, because you still have 3 mana open by playing all this stuff. But if you have the Swole Squirrel already in play, or a Kato in play, you have 7 mana open if the Squirrel was in play, 6 mana open if Kato was in play, because you have to play the Swole Squirrel, and also the Might, because you don't have the Kato. No, sorry. Yeah, but anyway, I did the calculation and this is right, and 10 mana open if both were in play. So with all those mana open, you can still use more Elixir of Wrath, for example, so you get 18 damage for only 1 Elixir of Wrath, 3 to 24, because actually a 3 point gets damaged, doubled, so you get to 24 for 2, and 30 for 3 Elixir of Wrath. Yeah, again, as I said, even though you will probably have 2 points of damage during the game, so 1 Elixir of Wrath is enough. And then the last point of manas that you have available can be used for Deny or to protect the squirrel, again, thanks to Twin Disciplines and stuff like that. So yeah, this is definitely a pretty fun deck and a budget one, so why not give it a try when the expansion will release. Now for the second budget deck on this list, we have the OTK Revitalizing Roar, Zephyr Sage and Green Glaive Duo. This is definitely a very strange combination that I had never thought of seeing into the game, but it actually works. So you basically want to stabilize the whole game. So yeah, you play, for example, Avaron's on Sentry to also cycle on your deck. You have ways to block thanks to Elixir of Iron, Brittle Steel. The Green Glaive Duo is actually not for beatdown this time, but it's actually a combo piece. Iceveil Archer, again, to stop your opponent from doing stuff. Starlit Seer, again, because we run a bunch of cheap spells, or spells in general. So again, the Starlit Seer is a nice consideration to make. And then we will see that you can high roll on the target, which is the Zephyr Sage, so definitely a pretty good consideration on the deck. Troll Chant, again, this trick is mind-boggling, it's it's very very strong, new Targon trick. Still Tempest, because when he plays a big unit, you simply deny his attacking turn with 2 mana, very very strong. Twin Disciplines, we'll see more on that later. Avalanche, to stabilize fully on turn 4 against aggressive decks which likes to go wide. Concussive Palm, again, is pretty similar to sorry, what's the name? To Steel Tempest. Yeah, a bit of lag. Still Tempest, but yeah, it's a bit stronger because it also summons a 3/2 to help you block further. Deny, more on that later. And then we have reached the combo potential. So basically you want to get Enlightened so that the Revitalizing Roar can reduce the cost of 1 unit to 0 mana. So you want to Revitalizing Roar onto a Zephyr Sage. Then you want to have 2 Zephyr Sage on hand, one which is discounted and the other one which is not. You play the not discounted one and you target the discounted one. So now you basically have the 0 mana Zephyr Sage that you started with and a copy from this Zephyr Sage which was not discounted, and the copy is indeed discounted because you targeted the discounted one. So now you have 2 Zephyr Sage on hand which cost 0 mana. And basically whenever you play one, you can target the other one which is discounted to generate an infinite amount of Zephyr Sage at 0 mana. And by its own, this is already a win condition, because you already have a full board of 4 force every turn, or even more if you got a buff thanks to the what's the name? The Starlit Seer, because this is an exact copy. So every buff that this card had, it will stick around on the copies. So yeah, basically if you have a 5/5 a full board of 5/5s or 6/6, this is again a win condition by its own. But you can get this further by getting a Green Glade Duo in play also, and this will get +1/+0 for every Zephyr Sage that you play. So you basically, when you reach 6, you can basically obliterate one of your 6 units, and the one that you play will still get played. So even if you reach the 6 maximum amount of units into play, you can still continue to play units, and the Green Glade Duo will be buffed. And so you can make this reach 20 attack, or basically infinite attack, whatever you need. 20 is most of the times what you need, and then you take the open attack. And then we actually have the Twin Disciplines, which will be used as a defensive tool to shield the Green Glade Duo from Vile Feast, and Get Excited, Noxian Fervor and stuff like that, or a Deny in response to some stuff like Vengeance and other removals that don't rely on damaging your units. And so yeah, you can get this OTK, this is a true OTK, and basically an infinite one. So yeah, you can get this. If by any means, for example, they cast a Vengeance, you deny that, but then they play another removal and they remove the Green Glade Duo, again, this deck has a backup plan, which is the Zephyr Sage full board every turn. And again, this will take longer, but it's still a very strong combo that will make you win the game. So yeah, that's it. You also have ways to heal, if for example against burn strategies. So yeah, this seems a pretty solid combo deck, and it's also very very friendly, budget friendly. And then for the last budget deck on the list, we have the Poro 2.0. This is the second version of the Poro that I already had. We got some Poro synergies and like upgrades in the form of Poro Cannon. Then we also got the, what's the name, Call the Wild. And I think that's it. But those are two very nice tools that you get added to the Poro strategy, because when you get to the Poro, basically the main strategy is to get a very big Earth of the Fluffed and give Elusive to that. So we ran already 3 copies of Daring Poro, but with the Poro Cannon, not only you get more like targets for the Earth of the Fluffed to get Elusive, but on its own, if you get 2 Daring Poros, which are very buffed thanks to the Poros Nex and the Aurora Borealis Poros Nex, you can basically win with the Poro Cannon alone. You basically discard whatever you don't need, and you get 2 elusive units, which could be like 5/5s. You can deal 10 point of burn with a 0 mana spell and discarding a card. Yeah, true. But this is definitely a very nice additional win condition that this deck needed. And then the Call the Wild is also very strong because this can be a 3 mana draw up to 4, which is definitely a very strong draw tool to get your Heart of the Fluff, for example, and your combo piece that are needed. And then, yeah, also another addition that I didn't see is the Troll Chant. Again, this trick is insane, and so you want to run this in every Freljord deck from now on. And so yeah, the other stuff is pretty mainstream. You got the Avarosan Sentry to cycle through your cards, get more Poros, Home and Oak to very great 1-drop, can buff your other units. It will give a stronger early game, which sometimes the Poros will not have so much. Lonely Poro, again, generating those Poros, can have a chance to get the Daring Poro or the Earth of the Fluff, very, very strong. The Poro Herder, again, to draw your Poro, and then, yeah, the Mighty Poro, yeah, pretty, like, normal stuff that we already had in the last expansion. But again, the Poro Cannon and the Call the Wild, in particular the Poro Cannon, are very strong addition to this archetype, which is evergreen, and I'm, not only for this expansion, but I do, suggest that you craft this deck because this will be strong in every meta. This will be a consideration in every meta. Obviously, it will be an off-meta deck, but it is always a strong start to every fresh new meta. So yeah, that's it for this video. Hope you liked it and find it useful, and as always, see ya!